Seed versus Pet.
And starting to the top left, we have Seed. He's tempted to call himself Vengeance these days. That's at least his Twitter account right now. Looking very handsome today.
He does.
And that doesn't help him with the results, though. He's down one map so far. Can he win here on Habitation Station and go into a third game against the Zerg opponent to the top right, who still has his fan club present in the studio here? This is StarTale's Pet.
Seed picks this map. He chooses Habitation Station. And I think that it's no coincidence. He's definitely wanting to utilize that gold base. And just in general, this map is pretty easy to defend Zerg pressure on. Even if you take the base that's the south of your natural, because it's so far away from the Zerg, then if you hold that and start to build an army that can contest the Zerg one, and then you can move forward and take that fourth base, you'll not only get a relatively easy fourth, but a gold fourth, which gives you a lot of extra mineral income for things like Zealot, Warp, and Run-bys, and all sorts of other fun things that Zerg players hate. So we'll see how he plays this one out. He is going to go gate first here on the high ground and do a gateway expand. Very different from what we saw from him in game 1, where he just went early Nexus into Forge and tried to get the gates up and then had Zerglings in his base, which was a bit of an annoyance from the beginning.
Yeah, and right now we just have a bit of a scout there, so no early pull. Sees exactly what's happening. And the drone, on the other hand, also moving back, and he's going to claim the gold base first here.
A ballsy move on your opponent's map pick.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. It's something that we've seen a little bit. But yeah, well,
he sees the gate now, so he's like, okay, can't cannon me.
You know, the question was rather, is his opponent going to see that or not?
See, it's Joe going to check it right now. He's got to.
By the way, what was the name of your cat?
Sarah, actually.
Sarah?
Yeah.
Oh wow, look at that! And you didn't pick Zerg? How did that happen?
The funny thing is, my younger sister at the time really wanted to name her, so
okay.
She ended up naming. We had 2 cats at the time. They're both girls, and she ended up naming hers the cat, which lived much longer. It's still alive. Sarah, and I named the other one Zelda.
Okay.
From video games, so that's what I had.
With the animal name is really funny because like one of our dogs was called Rusty, and actually one of the guys that I'm playing some mobile games with these days, his nickname is Rusty. So I'm playing carry and he plays support. I always want to be like, heal Rusty, heal. And it kind of works too. Like he's always trailing behind there. So a quick shout out to the guys from Alaska there. Might be watching, but yeah, it's always funny. Like, suddenly when he said his nickname, I was like, let me think about that. I have a dog that has that name.
Well, it works out.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the Maynard to the gold, and Seed. Let's see how much he wants to commit to punishing this, because the base is so close to him, and he already has the gate up. And Keldor, he hasn't taken a Nexus. He's like making another pile on the high ground. He might actually just do one base play against this to hardcore punish.
It looks really very much like that, because we are already 4:30 in the game, and so far there is no Nexus, no nothing. And I think he still doesn't know about that gold base, right?
No, he saw it. He saw with a probe. And
oh, he double-checked? I actually missed that. I thought that he had the probe already back. And yeah, you're right. He's already moving out with a few units just to get maybe a Paladin in there, and double-checks too if there's maybe a third as well.
Yeah, I cannot believe he's going to one-base this. Second gate, third gate, and he's got a sentry about to pop out at home, so that timing works out for him.
Okay. Oh, okay. That doesn't matter. It's alright.
It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
But you can kill his queen if the stalker starts targeting it. And no micro from Pet actually on the queen. There it goes, but a bit too late.
Oh, nice pick up the queen here.
And you know, if this is going to make it much harder to defend the 3 gateway pressure.
You know, one thing that I have to say is I think we should get a vote out there. If Seed is able to win the scoop and go to the Code S on the back of having one base play, he should not name himself Vengeance, but YOLO Swagger 420. That would be much, much better, in my opinion. That would be epic. Like, think about that for a second. He actually brings one base Protoss back in Protoss versus Zerg and tells everybody, look guys, that's how it's done. He can do that on Daedalus too.
I see. I don't. There's this huge like community of YOLO 420 like blazing things. I don't. He's like I YOLO 420 chrono it like.
Look at that! Look at that! He's going for spore crawlers right now. Pet is looking at this. He's like, "What are you doing? What is this?" He's really trying to find out what's coming his way right now.
I think he thinks it's DTs. I think he thinks it's DTs.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think you're right. He thinks it's Dark Shrine. He knows that there's no base, but he still is like, what?
To be honest, I'm a little bit scared for Seed because this could do damage, but like, The fact that he's doing this makes him look very desperate to me.
Yeah, it looks a little bit... you're right. Desperation, that's kind of what that spells out to me.
Okay, now he's going to take the gold base.
That's a super late expansion, though. I mean, we've seen Protoss players taking their third at this timing against... against Zerg, so...
Like he did it in the previous game.
Yeah, for example.
These force fields, again, are pretty sick.
Yeah, his force fields are just beautiful. They are a work of art, but the opening into the game is a bit questionable. Like, this is basically 3 gate into expand. You don't have to do that on a map like Habitation Station.
The thing is, he's also forcing a lot of units with this. He's keeping his worker count competitive, but at the same time, there's no base at the natural for Pet, and this is something that Seed does not know, but he can probably assume based on the units he's seen on the map. And it's a lot more units than you would have on a map like this with 2 base, because he has the gold base, so he has that extra production. I'm talking about Pet, and I don't know how this is going to work out for Seed in the long run, because he's losing so much income now, and it's not going to be made up for on the gold base, because
there is a gold base for the Zerg.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. This is just he made him make a lot of units. There's 21 Zerglings on the map, which aren't accomplishing anything, but still the income is more than double in his favor, in Pet's favor. That's going to change as soon as this gold base starts to saturate.
I mean, we have a pretty late expansion for the Zerg play here as well, which is of course also because he didn't need the extra minerals since he had the gold base already. But
this is a big problem at his natural, by the way, where the Zerglings are just hanging out there. That cannon is not ready. He's going to warp in another Zealot, actually, instead of a Sentry. He better hope that that Zealot gets in position. It does.
Yep, does in time.
That was scary.
You know, looking at the income, it's more the gas that he's lacking here than the minerals, to be honest. The minerals, now that he has everything, are actually kind of even. The tech, on the other hand, Hydras are already done. We have the upgrades in place. For the Protoss player, it's just the Immortals that are being built here. It's a very unique approach that Seed takes there. But you know, if it's so much on the line, he must have practiced this a lot. This is his map choice. It's not like he's just trying to, I don't know, freestyle it here. This is something that he practiced.
Yeah, this is definitely something he's been working with. I mean, this is his map pick, for example, and he's going to be able to secure a third base pretty easily once, whenever he wants to, because
that might be the whole idea behind it, to be honest. Because for a second, I really thought maybe he wanted to go into 1 base aggression with those 3 gateways, and then saw something that just led him to take a base after all and try to transition out of it. But there was nothing out of the ordinary that he really scouted where he would have said like, alright, this doesn't work. It's not like Pet suddenly built 5 spine crawlers at the moment.
Yeah. Well, he's adding a bunch of gates. This could actually just be a timing with the extra mills that he gets in the gold base. And even though you could say, well, Pet has a gold base too, so this doesn't give him any extra power, it's not true. It just still makes the Protoss army stronger than it would be normally. And he's got this Phoenix to follow the second army. I really like that. Force field's going down here, blocking the most important part of the army, the Hydralisk. And he can fight the rest of the army on the low ground. This is what we were talking about. His force fields are basically like making Claude Monet's art look terrible. It actually does look pretty terrible, Claude Monet's art. Here we go.
Well, there we go. Force fields are decent once again. A good time warp here. And he takes down a lot of those Hydralisks. And so far, Seed is making this work. He has 35 Harvesters, that's it. But with income at the gold base, it's absolutely working out for him. He didn't even take the gas there. He's only relying on the mineral income and is moving now across the map with a lot of Zealots. And of course, mainly those few Stalkers that we have, the force fields that are going to be great so far. But he doesn't really have a lot of income in gas, so he can't lose these important units.
Time Warp goes down here to slow some of those Hydralisks. The force fields, though, again, the big story. Seed is really the impressionist, man. He's making an impression on me with these force fields. Second Time Warp is great as well. Sentry's starting to fall away, though, but he still just has way too much.
Yeah, Mothership Core is gone. He doesn't really need it anymore since he doesn't have energy anyways, but still, he's doing a lot of damage here to Pet, and Pet is now in a position where he's suddenly cut off from his third base.
Yeah, I think Pet, like, he has extra income himself, but he doesn't respect how much damage can come off of a gold base of a Protoss player like this. Immortals are crushing this army, tanking Hydras as well.
Wow.
Come off the line, and that...
Seed, look at that. I mean, what a bad boy. Goes into 3 gate and an expansion at 7:30 in the game on Habitation Station. Is he really gonna make it? It looks like he will. He has
He
the better
certainly
army
will,
supply.
man. It's over. I think it's over.
This
he just has way too much production. The gold base gives him way too many minerals. Look at the income now with all those drones dead.
What a beautiful build.
Yeah.
Really mapped out from the beginning, something that we have not seen on this map just yet. Looked very old school at the start, actually. But it's not over yet. I mean, we have Pet still fighting. He's trying to get his reinforcement in the picture. Now, once again, the Warp Prism with a micro here. And immediately another round of Warp-ins, mostly Zealots now, since, as I said earlier, he doesn't have a lot of gas, so he needs to work with that.
Yeah,
but that is looking pretty good.
He's just going to crush through this. The Zealots tank enough. The Stalkers come through. That base is no longer mining. He's down to 28 Harvesters, which can't even saturate 2 bases properly. Forza goes down here. Could have gotten the ramp. Doesn't matter. The Queen desperately transfusing. The Stalkers need a target, and they start to. That's game. Seed does it. GG.
GG and game. That was epic. I love that one. That was really, really nice.
I almost expected him to come out on that camera shot with like a tie on that he wasn't wearing before and straighten it.
But just the
That's
big,
how classy
big
that was.
grin. But the problem is he knows what he has to face next, and that's not a Zerg player. That's a Zerg player on Daedalus. And well, he told us earlier what he thinks about that. So it looks very much like he. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it looks like he's not going to be too happy about that. But I have to say, the last build, that was pretty cool.
It really was. Man, Pet, I think just not respecting how much damage output comes to our boss player with that much income. Even if the Zerg player has the income to match it, if he plays it like it's a different map where there are no gold bases, then it's just not going to be enough.
That was such a crisp build. I mean, not taking the gas there, staying at, I think, 35 harvesters for most of the time, then going up to 40 and just playing it with that, really just saturating the mineral patch to the gold base, not even taking those assimilators and having the exact amount of gas that you need to get their sentries and the immortals out. Look at him and just nodding to himself and is like, yes, I know, it's going to be a Daedalus point.
That's like that
but
that we just saw is like the exact moment in which the game invite comes up on the screen to ask him to join, and he sees a Daedalus point. Like, I would bet my life on it. That's exactly like what that nod means. He sees it on the screen. He's like, okay, I can do this. I prepared for this. I expected this. I will have to play this map potentially 3 times today, and I'm ready.
Yeah.
And this is the most exciting first game that, like, this is the one where I'm looking at this and I'm saying, what is Seed going to do? What does he have planned?
Especially after the last game. I mean, he showed that he can come up with builds like this. But he sounded a little bit desperate earlier. Let's see what he can do here. Daedalus is the map, of course, for the Zerg. What can Seed do here to prevail? We're going to find out.